Yeah, welcome to my channel. This is Net Solution. In this video tutorial, we are going to write a block of code that will allow the user to sign in by entering their age. And if they are 18 years to 69 years, it should allow them to sign in. It should tell the user, you are now signed in. But if the user is above 69 years, that is from 70 years above, it should reply and tell the user, you are too old to sign in. And if the user is below 18 years, it should tell the user, you must be 18 plus to sign in. But if the user enters 0 as its age, it should tell the user, you cannot be less than a year. Okay, now let us write this code, and we are going to make this code to keep on looping, and also we are going to handle error. We are going to handle an error. Okay, now let us proceed. Now first, let's allow the user to make an input. We set a variable to take the user's input. Okay, variable is equals to input. Okay, here on input we specify what we need. We say enter your age. We typecast this to be an integer because what we are doing, we need an integer and not a string. We need just a number from the user. Okay, now we want to check the user's input. If the user is up to 18 years, let the user sign in. So to do that, we use if statement to compare. So if user is greater than or equals to 18. Okay, we want to check the user's input. If the user is greater than or equals to 18 years, then print you are now signed. You are now signed in. Now, what if the user is above 70 years? Is from 70 years above. Now, to do that, we are going to enter elif. Elif, okay, elif. Why we are using elif is because after you must have used the if statement to compare and print out an answer. Now we use elif if the answer is not here. If the answer is not here and we are still comparing the sentence, so then we have to use elif. If our code is not ending here, we have to use elif. But if this is the last answer, we should use else. Okay, if user is greater than or equals to 18 years, print is else. If, then we use this, or we use else. But we are going to compare many, so we are going to use elif. The last one is usually the else. Okay, now we say s user is greater than 70 years. Okay, s user is greater than or equals to 70 years. Print you are too old to sign in. Okay, you are too old to sign in. If the user is greater than 70 years, it should print you are too old to sign in. Now, if you should run this code now, the code will not execute to this extent, because once you run the code, it will first check this. If the user is above 18 years, it should print this. Okay, now 70 years is above 18 years. You understand? 70 here is above 18 years. So the code will not reach to this extent. It will just run this. Okay, let's run it to see what will be the answer. If I should run this now and enter 18 years and hit enter, it says you are now signed in, as you can see. What if I run this and enter 90 years? I enter 90 years. You can see here it still says you are now signed in, because 90 here is still greater than 18. What we set it to if the user is greater than or equals to 18. 90 years is greater than 18, so it will execute this block of code and then it will not reach to this side. Okay, now to do that, we have to take this 70 years to be above the 18. So it will check the 70. If the user is greater than or equal to 70, it will check that one first. Then else, that one is not complete, then it have to come down and check the next one. So we save this to be the first one. Since it's the first one, elif is not the right word to use here. We have to use else. We have to use if. Okay, then say this one to be elif. Okay, now you can see the 70 is not the first one. Now if there is a greater than or equal to 70 years, print this. Now if it's not greater than 70 years, come down and check this one. Okay, it will now come down and check if it is greater than 18 years. If it's greater than 18 years, print this. If it's not greater than 18 years, maybe it's below 18 years, then come down and check again. So what are we going to check again? We're going to put s if user uh user input is equals to 0. Okay, as if the user input is equals to 0, it should be the next one we should put here. If we should add if user is less than or equals to 18, maybe if user is less than or no, it's less than 18. If we should put this, it will work. Oh, but let's add it first. If it's less than 18, print you must be 18 plus to sign in. Okay, now if user is less than 18, print you must be 18 plus to sign in. Now if the user input is 0, print invalid input, you cannot be less than a year. Okay, now that is what you are supposed to do, and it's the last one. The last one should be else. Should be else if user is equals to 0, okay, or is less than 1. But this is not the right thing we should do there, because where first it will check this input. Okay, let me complete it. Print, I'm coming, print invalid input. You must, sorry, you cannot be, you cannot be less than a year. Okay, now if I should run this block of code, if I should enter 13 years and hit enter, it says you must be 18 plus to sign in. Okay, if I should run this again and enter 0 and hit enter, it still tell me you must be 18 plus to sign in, instead of showing me this invalid input, you cannot be less than a year. Why this didn't happen is because the same thing that happened here also occurs here. Okay, once the user input is less than 18 years, it will print this. It's less than 18, it will print this. The code will not reach this extent. Okay, less than 1 is still under less than 18, so it will execute this. For this to run, for less than 1 to run, it should be above this one. So if it is less than 1, it will print this. If it's not less than 1, it will now go down and check this. Okay, so we have to take this to be the first. We have to take this to be the first. It will be set to be else if. Okay, now this is the last one here, we have to make it to be else. Okay, then indent this so it will be under that. Okay, now this is it. If user is less than or equals to 18, print you must be 18 plus to sign in. Okay, now remember what we are doing. We are combining the while loop the try and except block, the if statement, elif and else. We are combining to solve just a problem. Okay, now we have done this. First, let us include a while loop. Now while loop works once the condition under there is true. Once this is true, it will keep on looping. Okay, and if it is false, it will break the program. Now we'll say this to be true. Okay, the true starts with capital letter, the T starts with capital letter, while others are small letter, because that's just like a class. Okay, now while true, run all this block of code. Now for this block of code to run, we have to indent them, so it will be under the while loop. For now it will not work. We have to indent all this block of code by clicking, highlighting all of them and click on tab. Okay, it will indent them, or you just click on space bar for 4 times. Okay, now all the code are now in while loop. What while loop does it is that it will keep on prompting the user to enter their age. Okay, now if I should run this and say I'm 13 years and hit enter, it says you must be 18 plus to sign in, and it still asks me to enter my age. If I should enter 0 now and hit enter, you can see now it says invalid input, you cannot be less than a year. If I should enter 80 years and hit enter, it says you are too old to sign in. But there's one thing you need to see here. It should give me space. Okay, after giving me an answer, you are too old to sign in, you should give me space here before telling me to enter my age. Like this is the first code, this is the first code here, there's no space. It still prompts me to enter another one and give me an answer. There's no space, it still prompts me to enter another one. I want it to give me a space, and to do that we have to add a new character, a new line character here. And adding a new line character is using the backstroke n, backstroke like this, then add n, which stands for new line. If I should run this once more, it will give me a new line after that. Okay, it tells me to enter my age here and no more here. Okay, it's still the same thing. If I should enter 18 years and hit enter, it says you are now signed in, enter your age, and gives me space to enter it below. If I should enter 13 years and hit enter, it tells me the same thing and give me space to enter that, but I don't want the space to be there. I can add a new line character here. Okay, if I should stop this and run it once more, let's see. I'll say my age is 20 years and hit enter. It says you are now signed in. As you can see here, it now gives me space, okay, before it tells me to enter your age. If I should enter 45 years and hit enter, it says you are now signed in, and it still gives me space and asks me to enter again. If I should enter 2 years and hit enter, it says you must be 8 plus to sign 18 plus to sign in. Okay, now as you can see, the thing keeps on looping by the help of the while loop. It keeps on looping until I break the program. Okay, now uh let us, what if we enter a wrong, maybe I was expected to enter an integer which is a number, and I enter an alphabet, let me say maybe D as alphabet, and hit enter. It breaks our program with the error name value error. Okay, the error name is value error. I want to accept that value error. This is when the try and accept block comes in. We use try block to try the whole blocks. Now in Python, to try these blocks to uh, 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 make block of codes to function under a particular function or anything at all, you have to indent them. This must be indented. Okay, now if I click on tab, it has been indented, and all this block of code has been placed under the try block. Okay, now what the try block does, that it will try all this block of code, and if error is encountered, it should uh, accept that error. This red line you are seeing here is because of the code is not complete. It's telling you that something is missing, and which is accept block. Now I have to, under the try, I have to write accept. Okay, accept Now, what do I want to expect? Accept. I want to accept that error which we are getting, which is the value error. Okay, the value error is a class. You have to start with capital letter V, then small letter value, as you can see, it is there. Then E in capital letter, then error. Okay, you have to add a column. Then under here, we'll say print invalid input. You are expected to enter a number. Okay, if you encounter a value error, print invalid input, you are expected to enter a number. That is what happens here. The try block will try all this block of code, and if an error is encountered, if the error is value error, print this. Okay, if it's not value error, it will break our program. But for now, what the error we must be getting is value error. So now I say I'm 23 years and hit enter. It says you are now signed in. I am 12 years and hit enter. It says you must be 18 plus to sign in. I say maybe I am 99 years and hit enter. It says you are too old to sign in. I am 0 years and hit enter. It says invalid input. You cannot be less than a year. Now, if I hit an alphabet like D and hit enter, it says invalid input. You are expected to enter a number. Now, it did not break our program again. It still asks us to enter a, a our age. Okay, now I will like this block of code to quit. Okay, if I hit maybe cure, it will quit the program. Okay, instead of coming here to end it. Now, to do that, we have to uh use the elif to check our program again. I can add the elif anywhere. It should be before the else. So I say elif okay, maybe let's leave that one because this is said to be an integer. It is an integer and q is not an integer, so we don't need that. Okay, let's just do it maybe using a number. Elif user is equals to 1000. Okay, if I enter 1000, break the code. Okay, if user is equals to 1000, quit. Goodbye. Now I run the program again. I say 7. Okay, if I should enter 1000 and hit enter, it says you are too old to sign in. What is the issue? Okay, this should be on top. Let's say this to be if statement, and this should be elif. Okay, you can see goodbye. Okay, why the color was red is because I entered the value. I just right there on quit, inside the bracket I entered this value inside the bracket, so it prints out in red color. What if I enter maybe normally 18 years, you are signed in 78 years, you are too old 13 years, you must be more than 18 0 years, invalid input, D invalid inputs, you are expected to enter a number 1000. Goodbye. Okay, this is how it works. Follow me up for more wonderful tutorial and wonderful practice like this. Yeah, thank you guys. Follow me up, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs up out. It will encourage me to make more videos like this. Thank you guys. We have a WhatsApp group chat where you can join us and code more. Just message me up for the WhatsApp group chat. uh um Message me up or come over to my description. There you see my WhatsApp link. You can message me on WhatsApp and I'll know how to add you up in our class. We have a class tutorial. I will know how to add you up there. Okay, thanks, and then remember less.